All right, so today we're gonna dive into something a little different.
Oh,
Yeah, it's well, it might not be for everyone.
okay.
It's pest control.
Pest control. Interesting.
Yeah, and specifically this company, Freedom Wildlife Solutions and Pest Control,
Okay.
and they're based in Clayton, North Carolina,
Gotcha.
but they serve a bunch of areas around there too.
Mm-hmm.
But their website's pretty fascinating, I have to say.
Oh, yeah. What's so interesting about it?
Well, it's like they've got it all laid out.
Okay.
Everything from like how to identify different pests
Uh,
to, what the latest like pest control technology is.
Interesting.
Yeah, so whether someone listening is actually dealing with an infestation right now
Right.
or just like wants to know, what they might be up against, I
Mm,
think there's something in here for everyone.
that's cool. One thing that really stood out to me on their website
Yeah.
was how much they emphasize being veteran-owned and family-operated.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like they're signaling that they've got these values,
Right.
integrity and community.
Yeah, it definitely gives you that sense of like, I can trust these guys.
Exactly. And especially when you're letting someone into your home to deal with a problem,
Yeah, that's a good point.
you want to feel comfortable with them.
Absolutely. And they
Yeah.
do a good job of highlighting those credentials, like you said.
Yeah.
But it goes beyond that, too.
What do you mean?
Well, they're also super upfront about all their technicians being licensed and insured and,
Right.
having all the right certifications.
Yeah, like you're not getting some fly-by-night operation.
Exactly. It's like they're saying we're the real deal.
Like you're in capable hands.
Yeah, you really get that sense.
For sure. I mean, that level of professionalism
Yeah,
really sets them apart from some of the other companies out there.
I agree.
It's not just about spraying some chemicals around.
Right.
It shows they actually understand pest behavior and have these targeted treatment strategies.
And a commitment to safety, too.
Absolutely.
Speaking of strategies, they talk about this multi-layered approach,
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
which sounds pretty interesting.
What is it exactly?
Well, it seems like they're not just focused on getting rid of the pests that are already there,
Okay.
but also on preventing them from coming back in like ongoing maintenance.
Oh, wow. So it's like a holistic approach.
Exactly. And that's where their expertise really comes in, I think.
Yeah, because a truly effective pest control strategy, you need to understand the pest's life cycle, right?
Right.
You got to figure out how they're getting in
Uh-huh.
and put measures in place to stop future infestations.
It's about long-term solutions, not just quick fixes.
Exactly. Prevention is key.
So, okay, let's get down to brass tacks here.
Okay.
What kind of services are we talking about?
Yeah, good question.
So their website breaks it down into these different packages,
Uh-huh.
which is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
If you're someone like me who's not really sure
Oh, yeah, totally.
what all the options are.
They have a good system.
Yeah.
It's tiered, so customers can choose the level of protection that fits their needs and their budget.
That makes sense.
So the most basic package is called the Economy Shield.
Okay.
And that starts at $39 for 4 scheduled services.
Not bad.
No. And it covers all the essentials.
Like what?
Well, they do a thorough inspection first to assess the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Then they do exterior treatments to create that barrier.
Okay.
And interior treatments only if absolutely necessary.
Gotcha. So for someone who just wants basic protection
Yeah.
and peace of mind, that seems like a good starting point.
Definitely.
What about the next level up?
Well, the mid-tier package is called the Standard Defense.
Okay.
That one starts at $59.
All right.
And it's for 6 scheduled services.
So you get more visits for not that much more money.
Yep, and it includes everything from the economy package,
Uh-huh.
plus they do targeted treatments for specific problems.
Like what kind of problems?
Like if you've got stinging insects
Oh, right.
or rodents.
Yeah, rodents can be a real pain.
Yeah, not just annoying, but they can actually cause a lot of damage
Oh, yeah.
to your home. I mean, they can chew through wiring insulation, even wood.
It's crazy what they can do.
It's like they have little tiny teeth of steel.
So you definitely don't want to mess around with those guys.
Nope.
Okay, so what about the top tier, the like Cadillac of pest control?
Ah, yes, for the ultimate protection.
Yeah.
They have the Premium Guard package,
Okay.
and that's $99 for 9 scheduled services.
So that's like the works?
Pretty much, it includes everything from the standard package,
Mm-hmm.
but then they add on things like flea and tick treatments, mole and vole control,
Oh.
and even seasonal mosquito control.
So you're covered for pretty much anything.
Yeah, pretty much anything that crawls or flies.
It's like peace of mind amplified.
Exactly.
Now, their website mentions all these different types of pests they deal with.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just the usual suspects like ants and cockroaches.
Right.
They're tackling everything. Crickets, Spiders, voles, even snakes.
Wow, snakes, that's intense.
I know, right?
So they really do cover the whole spectrum.
Yeah, and that's where their multi-layered approach really comes into play.
How so?
Well, different pests require different strategies, right?
Of course.
So let's unpack that a little bit.
Okay.
What exactly does their treatment approach involve?
Well, they talk about de-webbing,
Mm-hmm.
perimeter defense,
Uh-huh.
and targeted interior treatment.
Yeah, I'm curious to know more about what each of those actually entails.
Yeah, me too. It sounds pretty involved.
So de-webbing, that's like getting rid of spider webs, right?
Yeah, but it's more than just for looks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, spider webs can be like breeding grounds for all sorts of critters.
Oh, I see.
So removing them helps prevent future infestations.
It's like disrupting their little ecosystem.
Exactly.
And what about perimeter defense?
Well, that's where they create a barrier around your home.
Okay.
Using a combination of spray and granular treatments.
Interesting. So the granular treatments are for what?
Those target the ground-dwelling insects, like ants and certain types of beetles.
So it's like laying down a minefield for them.
Uh-huh. Yeah, kind of.
In the spray.
Yeah.
That creates a shield on vertical surfaces.
So walls, fences, things like that,
Exactly. And even foliage.
to stop the clamors and the flyers.
Exactly. It's a two-pronged attack.
Wow, it's starting to sound like a military operation.
It's pretty strategic.
But they tailor it to each property, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Taking into account the landscaping and the types of pests in the area.
And even things like the weather.
It's pretty impressive.
It is. They really seem to know their stuff.
So it's not just a one-size-fits-all solution.
Nope. They analyze the situation and come up with a plan that's specific to your needs.
That's great.
It really shows they understand both pest behavior and the challenges of the local environment.
They're like pest management consultants,
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
working with you to create a lasting solution.
Exactly. And they seem committed to that solution for the long haul, too.
How so?
Well, they offer free retreatments if needed. Oh, wow. So if the pests come back, they'll come back and take care of it.
Yep, no extra charge.
That's a pretty strong guarantee.
It is. It shows they're confident in their work.
And dedicated to solving the problem.
For good.
It's like having a pest control safety net,
Exactly. You know, they've got your back.
which is a huge relief for homeowners.
Definitely. And speaking of relief,
Yeah.
their commitment to safety and being eco-friendly
Mm-hmm.
is a big plus for people who are worried about the impact of traditional pest control methods.
Yeah, for sure. Especially those with kids or pets.
Absolutely. No one wants to be spraying harsh chemicals around their family.
So they're not just focused on getting rid of the pests.
Yep.
They're also thinking about the bigger picture,
The impact on the environment and all the other creatures out there.
trying to find that balance between protecting our homes and respecting nature.
It's a holistic approach.
Yeah, and it's not just talk. They actually back it up with their actions.
What do you mean?
Well, like we said, they offer free retreatments.
Oh, right.
So they're putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, it shows they're serious about doing things the right way.
It's like they're approaching pest control from an ecological perspective.
Yeah, thinking about how everything's connected.
They're not just trying to eradicate pests. They're trying to find a way to coexist with them.
In a way that works for everyone.
Exactly.
It's a pretty cool philosophy.
It is.
And it makes you wonder, how they handle those situations
Yeah,
where traditional pest control methods might be unavoidable.
that's a good question.
Like, do they have special protocols in place?
To make sure everything's safe.
Exactly, for their technicians and for the environment.
I'm sure they do.
I would hope so.
Their website really emphasizes safety and transparency.
True.
So I'm guessing they've thought all that through.
Yeah, and they probably have some good solutions.
But we'll have to see about that
We will.
because we've got a whole section on their treatment approach to get to.
Oh, right.
And I'm really curious to learn more about those specific techniques.
Me too, like the targeted interior treatments.
Yeah, and that perimeter defense system.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion.
The more we learn, the more interesting it gets.
I agree.
So let's not keep those layers waiting.
Let's dive in.
Let's do it.
Thinking about their service area and all those different pests,
Yeah.
it really hit me that pests are just so adaptable.
Oh, for sure.
It's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Like, they evolve and thrive no matter what we do to try and control them.
They're resilient little buggers.
They really are.
Their website even mentions that they had to create a whole wildlife division.
Ah, Interesting.
because so many other pest control companies were just like misdiagnosing those issues.
Wow, so they saw a need and filled it.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like the pests were already specialists in survival
And they had to become specialists too.
to keep up with them.
Right. It really highlights how important innovation is in this industry.
Yeah, you can't just rely on the same old methods,
Nope. You got to stay ahead of the game.
especially with pests evolving so quickly.
Exactly. And that's why I think integrated pest management is so important.
Yeah, focusing on prevention and those exclusion techniques.
Right, because in the long run, just relying on chemicals might not be enough.
So what do those techniques involve?
Well, it's all about getting to the root of the problem.
Not just treating the symptoms.
Exactly like their website says, thorough inspections are key.
Okay, so what are they looking for during those inspections?
Well, their technicians are trained to spot all sorts of subtle signs.
Of pest problems.
Yeah, or even wildlife issues.
Like what?
Droppings, nesting materials, entry points,
Okay.
even just conditions that might attract pests.
So they're not just looking for the pests themselves.
Right, it's like detective work.
Putting all the pieces together.
To build a case against those unwelcome guests.
I like that analogy.
So it's not just about seeing a few ants and grabbing the spray can.
You got to figure out why they're there.
What's attracting them, how to stop them from coming back.
That makes sense.
It's all about prevention.
And that's how they develop those targeted treatment plans.
Exactly. Different pests require different strategies.
Right. Their website mentions that, with ants, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know what species you're dealing with.
Because different ants have different habits.
Different nesting habits, different food preferences.
And that dictates how you control them.
It's the same with rodents, right?
Absolutely. It's not just about setting traps.
You got to seal up entry points.
Remove food sources, make the environment less appealing.
Make them feel unwelcome.
Exactly.
Their website does a good job of explaining the risks associated with different pests.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that this isn't just about aesthetics.
It can be a health issue.
For sure, like ants and cockroaches.
Yeah.
They're not just gross, they can actually spread diseases.
And contaminate food.
Yuck.
So it's important to take it seriously.
And even spiders.
Oh, yeah, right.
While they can be beneficial,
Eating other bugs,
some of them have venomous bites.
which can be dangerous.
Yeah, so you definitely want to be careful.
And then there's rodents.
Oh, yeah, those guys can be nasty.
They can carry all sorts of diseases.
Like hantavirus salmonella.
Not to mention the damage they can do to your property.
Oh, yeah, they can chew through almost anything.
Wiring insulation wood.
Creating fire hazards, structural damage.
It's scary what they can do.
So yeah, pest control is about more than just peace of mind.
It's about protecting your health in your home.
Exactly.
And it sounds like Freedom Wildlife Solutions really gets that.
They do their focus on prevention, targeted treatments, ongoing monitoring,
It's a comprehensive approach.
addressing both the immediate problem and the long-term risks.
And their website does a great job of explaining it all.
Yeah, it's clear and easy to understand.
Not too technical.
It's refreshing to see a company that prioritizes education.
And transparency.
They're not just selling a service,
They're sharing their knowledge.
building trust.
And speaking of transparency, they're also upfront about their commitment to using environmentally friendly methods
Oh, yeah, I noticed that.
whenever possible.
Which is great, especially for people with kids or pets.
Yeah, a lot of homeowners are looking for that these days.
Absolutely. There's a growing awareness of the potential impact of pesticides.
On human health and the environment.
Right. And Freedom Wildlife Solutions seems to be ahead of the curve.
Using integrated pest management.
Prioritizing prevention, exclusion, targeted treatments with the least toxic options.
It's like they're approaching pest control from an ecological perspective.
Yeah, thinking about the interconnectedness of everything.
Not just trying to eradicate pests, but finding a way to live in harmony with nature.
It's a refreshing perspective.
And they don't just talk about it, they actually do it.
How so?
They offer free retreatments if needed.
Oh, wow. So they stand behind their work.
Yeah, it's like a pest control guarantee.
It's a smart business strategy, too.
How so?
Happy customers tell their friends.
Word of mouth is the best advertising.
Exactly. And it seems like Freedom Wildlife Solutions has found a winning formula
Combining expertise with a customer-centric approach,
and a commitment to environmental responsibility.
it's impressive.
It really is. They've created a company that's both professional and personal.
Addressing a real need in a way that resonates with their community.
It makes you wonder, though,
Yeah,
how they handle those situations where traditional methods might be unavoidable.
that's a good question.
Like, do they have special protocols
To ensure safety?
for their technicians and the environment?
I'm sure they do.
Their emphasis on safety and transparency suggests they've thought it through.
I bet they have some comprehensive solutions.
Well, we'll have to find out.
Because we still have to delve into their treatment approach.
Right. That whole section on their website.
I'm excited to learn more about those specific techniques.
Me too, like the targeted interior treatments.
And that perimeter defense system.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion.
The more we learn, the more intriguing it gets.
So let's not keep those layers waiting.
Let's jump right into the details. Okay, so let's talk about those treatment methods. Their website mentions this multi-layered approach.
Right.
But I'm curious what that actually looks like, in practice.
Yeah.
Especially that targeted interior treatment they talked about.
It's interesting how they really focus on minimizing disruption for the homeowner.
Yeah.
Like they emphasize that they only use interior treatments when absolutely necessary.
Okay.
And even then, it's only in specific areas where they've found pests.
So they're not just spraying everywhere.
No, it's much more targeted.
Like a surgical strike.
Exactly.
But what about the chemicals themselves?
Ah, good point.
Do they offer eco-friendly options?
It seems like they do.
Yeah.
They talk a lot about using the least toxic options possible.
Great.
Prioritizing products that are safe for kids, pets the environment.
That's great to hear.
It's definitely something a lot of people are looking for these days.
For sure.
So yeah, it seems like they're on top of that.
Speaking of being on top of things,
Yeah.
let's go back to that perimeter defense system for a second. They mentioned using spray and granular treatments.
Right.
What makes that so effective?
Well, it creates this barrier
Uh-huh.
that targets different types of pests.
Yeah.
So the granular treatments, those are designed to get down into the ground
Gotcha.
and target the insects that live and travel at ground level.
Like ants.
Exactly. Ants and certain beetles.
It's like a minefield for those ground dwellers.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you could say that.
And what about the spray?
That creates a shield on vertical surfaces.
Walls, fences?
Exactly. And even foliage.
To stop the climbers and the flyers.
Yep. It's a two-pronged approach.
It's like a full-on defense system,
It is. And they tailor it to each property.
taking into account things like landscaping,
The types of pests in the area.
weather patterns even.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that level of customization really sets them apart.
They're not just applying a cookie-cutter solution.
Right, they're really analyzing the situation.
Coming up with a plan that's specific to your needs.
They're like pest management consultants.
Exactly.
Working with you to find the best solution.
And it seems like they're in it for the long haul.
How so?
Well, they offer those free retreatments
Oh, right.
if you need them.
So they stand behind their work.
Absolutely. It's like a guarantee.
That's reassuring.
For sure.
And their focus on safety and eco-friendliness.
Yeah.
That's a big plus.
And for people who are concerned about the impact of traditional methods.
They're not just trying to get rid of pests.
Right.
They're trying to do it in a way that minimizes harm to the environment.
And all the other creatures out there.
It's a more balanced approach.
For sure.
And that brings us back to that idea of the adaptability of pests.
Right.
It's a good reminder that we're all part of this ecosystem.
We're all connected.
And finding solutions that work for everyone is important.
Including the pests.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
But Freedom Wildlife Solutions seems to be up for it.
They're embracing innovation and sustainability.
Trying to find that balance.
Well, I think it's safe to say that Freedom Wildlife Solutions is more than just a company.
Definitely.
They're a resource, a partner for homeowners.
Helping them navigate the world of pest control.
Their website is fantastic.
So informative.
And they're clearly committed to customer satisfaction, safety, and environmental responsibility.
It's impressive.
They've really created something special.
It seems like it.
So there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into pest control.
Thanks to Freedom Wildlife Solutions.
We've explored their approach, their commitment to sustainability, their dedication to their customers,
Hopefully you've learned something.
and maybe even gained a new appreciation for the complexities of this often overlooked part of our lives.
It's something we all have to deal with at some point.
So remember, knowledge is power.
The more you understand about pests
The better equipped you'll be to deal with them.
in a safe and effective way,
Until next time, stay curious and keep those homes pest-free.